Jag, do we have access to that satellite yet?
Just about got it. And there we go.
Hey there, welcome to... Hold on. Why am I being broadcast as a cartoon character? I thought you said that satellite you found was top-notch.
It is. For the time period it came from.
What time period?
1960s Japan.
Well, I suppose beggars can't be choosers. Hey there, welcome to Missing Link. I'm Gabe.
And I'm too lazy to go find a better satellite.
And since we're on the topic of things from Japan, let's take a look at the very first Super Mario Bros. Movie.
Gabe, have some respect for the dead. Haven't we given Bob Hoskins enough grief over this?
Super Mario Bros. The Great Mission to Rescue Princess Peach.
One of these days, you're gonna send me to the funny farm, and I swear I'll take you down with me.
Made in 1986 Japan, this OVA has some historical significance of being the first movie based off of a video game.
It's also the first video game movie that we ever got gypped on as kids.
That's right, this movie was never released overseas. In Japan, before it was released, tons of merchandising was put out to promote this film. Then, after it premiered, all was silent till it went to VHS. There's no known record for how people reacted when this film first premiered over in Japan. For most of us growing up here in the States, most of us didn't even know that this film existed, which is odd, because you'd think at a time when Mario's popularity was at its growing peak, that this film would have been on the front line merchandising-wise. As of today, the VHS for this film is extremely rare.
So, is this a buried gem? Or did Japan spare us some psychological trauma? Let's find out!
We open oddly enough with Mario playing a video game.
And with what is an odd-looking game system. Kinda looks like a Super Nintendo. Always knew they purposely held back better gaming systems to better stir up the hype.
That's actually a Famicom, the Japan version of the Nintendo. So it's kind of clear that Mario has been playing this thing for hours on end, and well into the night.
He's got the heart of a true gamer, Gabe. He'll be a first-class raider when World of Warcraft is released.
Well, after his brother Luigi asks him if he's coming to bed, Mario's game suddenly shuts down, and is replaced by a scene of Princess Peach being chased by some Super Mario Brother enemies.
And then, every teenage boy's fantasy comes true.
And right after her comes the same enemies who were chasing her. After a quick fight, Mario manages to fend them off.
And like a Disney romance, Mario and the princess instantly fall head over heels for one another.
But, before wedding bells can start ringing, King Koopa appears and makes off with Princess Peach.
I suppose it never occurred to Mario to just turn off the TV before Bowser could pop out.
Well, Mario tells his brother about all this, and Luigi reacts like we would expect anyone to.
And in the morning, Luigi had his brother put in a mental institution.
Well, no. Mario actually spends the next morning moping over how he just lost the girl of his dreams. But he does have one thing to prove his sanity. Peach's pendant.
And, hold on, why is Luigi wearing blue and yellow?
There's actually a good explanation for that. Back then, Luigi's traditional blue and green color scheme didn't exist yet. In fact, in his first game Mario Bros., he was green and black. In Super Mario Bros., he was white and green. It wouldn't be until the 1988 game Super Mario Bros. 2 would we see Luigi as we know him today.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Well, Luigi brings out a book on gems that details that the pendant is not only worth a lot of money, but also comes from the Mushroom Kingdom, and is able to lead them to where the place is. The book doesn't say how, though. So Mario goes the sensible route, and simply calls up the author of the book.
Okay, calling up an author of a book that covers various gems to literally inquire about a mythical place that one of the gems alludes to. Why do I see these two being directed to another helpline?
Well, to the surprise of Mario, the apparent author of the book answers and calls it by name, and then sends a,
Gabe, Is that what happens when Pluto gets drunk and mates with one of those bugs from the Cootie game?
Thank you, Jag, for that lovely, disturbing mental image. Well, the dog steals the pendant and gets Mario and Luigi to chase him, leading them to a group of pipes, which transports them to the Mushroom Kingdom. There, this old man explains to them how King Koopa attacked the Mushroom Kingdom and turned all of its inhabitants into bricks and plants. This actually comes right out of the original game manual, by the way. So props to the OVA for sticking to the game's story.
Just think, kids, every time you play a Mario game, you're committing mass genocide from all those bricks you break.
So, the old man tells Mario and Luigi how King Koopa intends to marry Princess Peach on Friday the 13th, leaving it up to our heroes to save her. This is actually a reference, by the way, to the Super Mario Bros. Original release date. He also tells Mario about the three treasures: the Mushroom of Strength, the Flower of Courage, and the Yellow Star of Invincibility, and how they'll need them to defeat King Koopa. Luigi, who apparently is a greedy coward in this story, asks if they'll be rewarded. Old Man simply tells them that there are a bunch of coins strewn about here and there, and that they can take that as payment.
So he's offering him currency that may or may not have any real value in their world? Go figure.
So Mario, Luigi, and that strange dog go on their way. Now here's one of the weaknesses of the movie: the music montages that occur between these scenes. They make the movie feel disjointed and tend to disrupt the general flow of the plot. Plus, what's with this background fluctuating?
Maybe Mario ate a few bad mushrooms?
So, after Mario and Luigi begin their journey, we're introduced to two minions of King Koopa, a couple of Goombas, and, unlike their video game and future incarnations, these two are not portrayed as a couple of idiots. Rather, they use their wits to try and trick and trap Mario and Luigi.
These two may just possibly be the most intelligent Goombas in all of Goomba history.
So when Mario and the others set camp for the night to rest, Luigi, who is hungry, gets lured away by the Goombas to a group of mushrooms to chow down on.
Didn't that old guy tell him that King Koopa turned the mushroom people into bricks and plants and... Oh boy, this is gonna be awkward later on.
Not exactly. These are actually just normal mushrooms. Yeah, apparently normal non-sentient mushrooms exist alongside anthropomorphic ones in this world.
It's the same deal in the games, though, so we'll give it a pass.
So a giant paratrooper comes down to feed Mario to her babies. Mario, with some quick thinking, feeds some of the mushrooms to them instead. And after she captures Luigi and that one dog, Mario convinces her that Luigi is poisoned and tricks her into leaving so as to get them all some better food and giving them a chance to escape. Another odd thing to note here is how these are all normal baby birds being raised by a winged turtle.
I've got a few theories, but they all involve a horrible tragedy followed by obligated adoption.
Jag, you scare me sometimes. Anywho, during this time, Mario spots what he thinks is one of the three treasures. With a bit of work, he manages to pull it out of the side of the mountain, and when he does, a bunch of coins come spewing out. But poor Luigi finds that these are really some of the mushroom people that got transformed.
Hold on a sec. That old guy only said that the mushroom people got turned into bricks and plants. He didn't say anything about them being turned into coins. Did he purposely leave that out so as to swindle Luigi?
As a reward for restoring them all to their true selves, the head mushroom gives Mario one of the three treasures, the Mushroom of Strength. From here, a regular set of plot holes develop. Apparently, Mario gains the ability to grow gigantically in the games, but it's never clear how that works in the story. We see him grow larger to topple a giant trooper, but when we next see him, he's back to his normal size. We know he doesn't eat it, but that doesn't fade away, as you see he still has it later on. Is his power just temporary? Can he just use his power up more than once? And if so, why doesn't he use it when it could come in really handy?
You know, like when they get tricked by the Goombas into going into a patch of seemingly harmless flowers, which then turn out to be piranha plants. And getting attacked by their caretaker, Alakitu, who unleashes his spinies upon them.
Well, for the sake of plot convenience, a vine pops up to save them just before the Spinies can attack. Mario uses this to get the upper hand of the Lakitu, and uses his own cloud upon his minions to defeat them. This apparently frees another mushroom gal who gives Mario the Flower of Courage. We get another montage, and I gotta point this out where Mario uses the Firefly to shoot fireballs at these beetle enemies. These guys were, and have always been, fireproof. In the games, fire couldn't touch these guys.
Shame, shame. You writers were doing such a good job staying true to the game up to this point.
Well, the Goombas managed to lure Mario and Luigi into another trap. This time instead of a gold mine, where they promptly entrap and seal the two in.
This is why you never take gold from strangers.
And then we get a scene with Princess Peach and King Koopa. And here we get to see that the princess does have a clever side to her. Apparently Bowser has the ability to shapeshift and
Help me, Gabe! I'm blind!
Calm down, pal. It's gone now. So after that disturbing bit of trauma, Princess Peach tricks Bowser into shapeshifting into a teddy bear, which she locks up inside of a little chest. Props for creativity. Sadly, however, King Koopa manages to escape, and is none too pleased that she tricked him.
So he puts her in the timeout chair.
Back with Mario, the plumber dreams of going on a romantic date with his beloved. During all this, Luigi manages to dig a tunnel for all of them to escape. And after escaping, Luigi accidentally crashes through the gate.
Hold on. You mean to say that he could have bashed his way through that wall at any time?
No, not at any time. Only when it was funny.
After a short chase, Mario manages to drop a huge boulder on their guard. And poor Luigi discovers that all that gold he found in that mine was fake.
Gotta love instant karma. But uh-oh, turns out the last remaining treasure, the star, was in there.
So into the water they go. And while they're down there, they encounter Big Bertha. That's right, we actually have an enemy that we wouldn't see until Super Mario Bros. 3, and also a flying ship. There again! Something else we wouldn't see until Super Mario Bros. 3, and...
What's up, Gabe?
I just noticed something. Giant versions of famous enemies. Goombas sitting on top of a shoe. Now we've got Big Bertha, and a flying ship. There's an old saying, once is a chance, twice is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern. This OVA was either really good at predicting the future, or some of the inspirations for future Mario games might have come from this.
You know, for an OVA that was all but buried and forgotten, it certainly seemed to be a heavy influence on things to come.
As for how the ship flies in the first place, we gotta remember, folks, this is a land where coins come out of floating boxes, the boxes are really mushroom people, and everything else seems to have a face on it. This is essentially the video game land equivalent to Wonderland, where the laws of physics tend to take a backseat to things.
Well, the laws of physics can't be held off forever, as when Mario and company get to the castle, the boat promptly falls apart.
Yeah, speaking of things falling apart, just what was this castle made out of? Oh yeah.
Mushroom people bricks. You get what you pay for. Speaking of which, guess Mario forgot about this fact, as with the loss of this castle alone, the death toll for the mushroom people skyrockets.
After a bit of chasing through King Koopa's castle, Mario finally takes on the giant lizard. After some instructions from the dog, he eats the power-ups he's gathered.
And from here, King Koopa gets his tail royally served to him on a silver platter.
And tell me if this doesn't look familiar. So far we've had the Super Mario Bros. 3 future references. Now this. Were the writers just psychics or something? Or did the game makers have this planned out the entire time for future games?
Peach even gives Mario the same kiss that she gives him at the end of Super Mario 64.
So Mario beats King Koopa, the Mushroom Kingdom is saved, Mario gets the girl, all's well that ends well. What? It's not like the people who made this are suddenly gonna pull a tragic ending out of thin air. It's not like they're going to introduce some random character that we never saw before, or never even heard of, and... what's going on?
Yeah, say hello to that random tragic ending that just came out of nowhere. M. Night Shyamalan would be proud.
So, Yeah, that dog, who up until this point served no real purpose in the plot other than getting Mario and Luigi to the Mushroom Kingdom, is really a prince. And it turns out he's apparently engaged to Princess Peach. Mario takes the news gracefully. It's clear he's heartbroken though. Peach's return is also heartbroken by her supposed fiancé's return, as it was pretty obvious she was in love with Mario.
Keep in mind, if it had been me, I'd toss the sucker off the nearest cliff.
And here might be a clue as to why this movie failed at the box office in Japan. This ending just doesn't work on any level. Twist-wise, it comes almost completely out of left field. I say almost because so far I've seen a couple of translations of this OVA where Peach mentions Prince Haru once, though in a couple of others, in the exact same scene, she's asking Bowser to spare Mario, so I can't be certain which is the correct translation for this part. But even if Princess Peach did mention him, it doesn't change the fact that the movie throws this at us at the last possible moment of the film. Imagine if this is the ending for not just the original Super Mario Bros. Game, but for all the others that followed. A long accepted staple of this Mario continuity is that Peach is Mario's girl. And for the writers to pair up with anyone else had to have been a slap in the face for the fans who watched this.
And everyone else who's seeing this for the first time.
And what the old man from the beginning says next just grants more salt into the wound.
本物の勇気とは誠の愛から生まれるものなのじゃろう。それがパワール、勇者の印じゃ。
What a load!
Yeah, if that was the case, why didn't Mario get the girl? Great message for kids. Do what's right, and someone else who did nothing will get the reward. Well, I think I got a reward of my own I think I like to give.
Gabe, what are you doing?
What every other fan is thinking right now.
Gabe!
What?
I wanted a shot at him.
You and everyone else who saw this ending, pal. But as bad as this ending is, it could have been the sole basis of why we never heard of this film to the invention of the internet. We won't pretend it's a masterpiece, as it does have its share of problems. The musical montage between scenes, as mentioned, tend to offset the pacing a bit. And while it may seem odd judging a Japanese voice actor, Bowser's voice just felt too weak. When I think of Bowser, this is not the voice I imagine coming out of that mouth in any language. And as for everything else, it kind of helps to turn your brain off at certain points. Let's face it, the world of Mario was never one for logic to begin with. No, another clear reason that this film never made it over here, because at the time, anime itself wasn't mainstream yet here in the States, and the producers might have figured that there wasn't a big enough market for the film to flourish. But to the film's credit, it does have some pretty funny moments. The Princess Peach in this story is pretty entertaining for when she's on screen, and she just doesn't roll over and let King Koopa kidnap her at the early beginning. And while she's captive, she tends to give him and his minions a hard time. The movie is available on YouTube, and if you're a fan of Mario, I'd recommend this film. If you can stand the ending. At any rate, I'm Gabe.
And I am now an accessory to murder. And this has been Missing Link.